Welcome to the webinar, and we're talking about how to put you on a fast track to quality compliance with 12 steps to effective quality improvement and 4 actions you can take today. We're going to go from overwhelm to confidence using a 3-stage framework to create compliant, thriving care service in 2025. We are going to look at raising quality, reducing stress and getting your care home inspection ready in just 12 easy steps. Are you a registered manager that's struggling to raise quality in your care home? Tired of managing an underrated service and being constantly worried that inspectors will show up and you are not ready to demonstrate improvements? If this year's left you feeling uncertain about the future of your care service, you're not alone. Regulations are shifting and technology is evolving, employment law is changing, and financial constraints are growing. Plus, there's an overwhelming amount of conflicting advice on what good actually looks like. Let's cut through the noise and focus on what really matters: sustainable, high-quality care. If your care home has received a CQC rating of inadequate or requires improvement, or you think it could, you may well be feeling like each week you're unsure of what you've actually achieved at the end of it, like you're constantly working on urgent tasks that don't move your service forward. And you may feel like you struggle to find the time for quality improvement, spending far too much time firefighting instead of making real progress. As a registered manager, if you're managing a service that needs an improvement focus, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the constant firefighting and juggling of urgent tasks and actioning one problem after another. You're working hard, but at the end of each week, you're left wondering what you've actually achieved and constantly worried that the inspectors will turn up before you've had the time to make real improvements. It's exhausting and stressful, and it's not moving your care home forward. Everywhere you turn, there's uncertainty. But here's what most people don't tell you. No matter what challenges are happening in the care sector right now, there's still a proven path to building a sustainable, high-quality service, one that gives you stability, confidence, and the ability to create real impact without burning out in the process. So if you're struggling to raise quality in your care home, this is the framework to keep you focused, in control, and on track. And this is what I'm going to share with you today. Hi, I'm Leslie Shaw, and I've been an award-winning registered manager, a provider, and a senior leader, and I've faced the same challenges you're dealing with, improving care home quality while managing day-to-day tasks. And I've developed my expertise in driving quality improvement during my 30-year career. Through my work with many managers and countless care homes, I've learned what truly works and what doesn't. Successful quality improvement isn't about working harder or longer hours. It's about having the right systems and processes in place. And that's how I created the Qualitizer Process framework, a system built on my experience that helps you streamline quality improvements, stay focused, and get your care home on track for success. Are you making some of these mistakes? Are you making the mistake of struggling to maintain improvements because your quality improvement foundations are either non-existent or too weak? Or are you treating improvement like a sprint, leaving you exhausted when it should be a marathon, a long-term journey you're supporting yourself to complete? Are your HR processes disjointed, with the rota becoming that final isolated step instead of being part of a cohesive system, which is causing you to constantly firefight staff cover? Or do you lack a structure to record evidence that demonstrates you're following the new single assessment framework? By implementing the Qualitizer Process 12-step framework, you'll unlock sustainable, game-changing improvements in care home quality. And this framework, it streamlines your processes, it reduces the constant pressure and allows you to focus on what truly matters. You'll gain complete control over your quality journey, ensuring that your home is not only ready for inspection, but constantly exceeds expectations. And the result? Less stress, more time to focus on your team and residents, and a care home that thrives with continuous measurable progress. By the end of this webinar, you'll have 12 clear steps that set apart those who will successfully elevate their care service in 2025 and beyond to those who struggle, burn out, and feel stuck. This is the approach that helps you drive real, sustainable improvements without the overwhelm. Sound good? Let's dive in. It's time for me to introduce you to the Qualitizer Process framework. And this framework is designed to take your care home from uncertainty to thriving with a clear, structured approach in 3 powerful stages. Stage 1 is building firm foundations. Think of this stage as setting the groundwork necessary to support sustainable quality improvement and long-term success. Because without a solid foundation, any progress you make can quickly unravel. Stage 2 is about implementing a clear approach and developing momentum. Because success requires clarity and action. And in this stage, we help you review, clarify, and build momentum, implementing focused processes that drive impactful change with actionable steps to focus on what truly matters, all aligned to the key areas of the new CQC single assessment framework. And stage 3 is your blueprint for service optimization and long-term success, where you'll create a detailed blueprint for continuous improvement, optimizing every aspect of your service to ensure efficiency, effectiveness, and the best possible care outcomes and business success. So let's dive into stage 1, building firm foundations. If you want to embed a sustainable quality improvement, you need the right foundations in place. Otherwise, every step forward feels like 2 steps back. And that's why this stage is built around 4 key steps. Step 1 is about embedding the 9 fundamentals, because these are the core principles that make quality improvement sustainable. It's not just a quick fix, but it's a lasting part of how you operate your service. Step 2 is developing your support systems, because you can't do this alone. And the 5 R's to Thrive model helps registered managers build the right systems to stay effective for the journey, ensuring long-term success without the burnout. And then step 3 is effectively leading change, because improving care in a service means change management, and leading change isn't always easy. You need the right tools and approach to take your team on the journey with you. And step 4 is establishing and showcasing a well-led service, because it's not just about making improvements, it's about embedding strong leadership and visibly demonstrating progress so that quality improvement is both seen and felt across your service. And with these 4 steps in place, you're not just making changes, you're creating a structured, sustainable approach that keeps your service improving over time. So let's look at one of the mistakes often made, which you might be making, which is, are you struggling to maintain improvements because your quality improvement foundations are either non-existent, or they're too weak, Often we jump into improvements and developing and our service without actually thinking about what we're building that improvement on. And this is where step 1 of the Qualitizer process, the 9 fundamentals, helps you embed foundations to support sustainable quality improvement. So let me explain. When it comes to sustainable quality improvement, there isn't a magic wand. It's about having the right foundation stones in place to create that real lasting change. And that's why I developed the 9 fundamentals, those essential elements that support you on your improvement journey. We start with the keys to success, because knowing what will support you and your team on the journey is the first step. Then it's all about having clear quality improvement processes and making sure audits aren't just tick box exercises, but are fully integrated into how your service runs. Hand-in-hand benchmarking helps you measure progress step by step, so you have a clear pathway forward rather than that feeling like you're figuring it out as you go along. And we also treat turnaround as a process, not just a reaction when things go wrong. And because you can't do it alone, supporting management models make sure that as a registered manager, you've got the right systems and guidance in place. But great systems alone aren't enough. You need effective leadership and a way to keep going without burning out. And that's where consistent persistence comes in. It's about maintaining continuous progress in a way that's easy to sustain. And finally, one of the most important fundamentals is celebrating the journey. Because improvement isn't just about reaching the next milestone or the next goal. It's about recognising the progress you and your team are making along the way. Taking time to acknowledge achievements keeps motivation high and reminds you why the work you do is so important. Now let's take a closer look at one of these key fundamentals, supporting management models, and how they can help you stay resilient and in control. As a registered manager, creating a culture of continuous improvements needs you to build in cycles of effective quality improvement, because that's key to achieving lasting success in your care service. And that's why I created this model, to give registered managers a clear, strategic approach to quality improvement. And it's built around 3 essential processes. Review and reflect, because understanding where you are and what's working or not is important. We then move on to clarify, which is defining priorities and ensuring everyone's aligned to those goals. And then we move with momentum, taking focused action that drives real lasting change. Now each step is crucial to building a motivated, high-performing team and ensuring quality improvement isn't just a goal, but a way of working. So let's take each step in detail. Review and reflect. A strong quality improvement process starts with regularly reviewing and reflecting on your systems, your processes, and your actions. By analysing successes, identifying areas for growth, and using tools like action plans, audits, and feedback, you gain valuable insights. And this allows you to pivot strategically, adapt effectively, and drive continuous improvement. The next step is clarify, because once you've reflected on where you are, it's time to get clear on what the next steps are. Because turning insights into focused, actionable goals helps keep you and your team aligned and moving forward. And our smarter approach to goal setting makes goals more engaging and achievable, while good planning, open communication, and structured action plans make sure everyone knows their role in making real progress. And the third step is moving with momentum. because once you've got clear goals and a solid plan, it's about keeping things moving, establishing consistent routines, monitoring regularly your progress, and creating an environment that fosters operational effectiveness and collaboration, because this will help you stay on track and drive real improvement. By making the RCM model a core part of how you work, you can create a service that runs smoothly, adapts quickly, and keeps improving without it feeling like a constant struggle. Now, if you would like to get your copy of the RCM framework, review and reflect, clarify, and move with momentum, you can click on the QR code, which will take you to the booklet if you want to get started. Next up is, are you treating quality improvement like a sprint, leaving you exhausted and on the brink of burnout? It's because your quality improvement is a marathon and it's not a quick sprint. And you need to support yourself on that journey. And this is where step 2 of the Qualitizer process, the 5R framework, helps you embed processes that support you and so that you can support others. Let me explain. The 5R framework is about prioritizing you on the quality improvement journey. I learned the hard way that if you don't look after yourself, you won't have the energy to lead the way your service needs. And that's when I created the 5R framework. It's a practical approach to self-care that keeps you strong, focused, and resilient for the journey ahead. First, we recharge with 6 simple but powerful tips to reset and come back stronger. Then we re-engage, reconnecting with what you love about your role through 5 meaningful strategies. Next, we refocus using 2 key theories and 7 strategies to help you concentrate on what truly matters. And from there, we reframe, shifting our mindset with 5 key approaches that can boost positivity and productivity. And finally, we build resilience with a 4-piece toolkit designed to help you navigate challenges with confidence. Once managers go through the 5R framework, they've got a toolkit they can return to whenever they need it, diving in and out as needed to stay resilient, focused, and ready to lead with confidence. Now, in January this year, I ran a series on the 5 R's to thrive in 2025 on my podcast, and you can check it out and grab the links to downloadable workbooks to dive deeper into each stage of the 5R framework. Now we're going to move on to stage 2, which is review, clarify, and move with momentum. The model I've just introduced you to, with 6 steps. Now that we've built strong foundations, it's time to put a clear approach in place and build momentum. And in this stage, we focus on structured processes that drive real impact, all aligned with the key areas of the CQC single assessment framework. We start by integrating audit processes using our 8-step approach to self-auditing and embedding the SAF into everyday practice. From there, the Qualitizer Process CQC SAF Scorecard helps identify actions, assess risks with RAG ratings, and create focused quality improvement action plans across the 5 CQC key questions. Next, we move to safe and effective HR practices using our VSR rota model to ensure robust staffing structures. And then we take a deep dive into the CQC's we statements, applying practical tools to help you review, clarify, and plan smarter moves for success, covering the 6 well-led, 5 effective, 7 responsive we statements, as well as the others. This stage is all about clarifying, action, and momentum, giving you the structure and confidence to leave meaningful, lasting improvements in your service. Shall we look at if you lack a structure to record evidence that demonstrates you're following the single assessment framework? Because this is where step 6 of the Qualitizer Process CQC SAF Scorecard comes in, because it helps you create a clear, organised system for capturing and presenting the necessary evidence to ensure compliance and drive continuous improvements. Let me explain. So let's talk about the QP CQC SAF Scorecard. I know how overwhelming it can feel trying to track, rate and take action on everything in the new single assessment framework. And that's why I created this tool, to make it simple, structured and actually useful for driving real improvement. With the scorecard, you can easily identify what needs actioning, RAG rate the risks so you know where to focus, and create clear quality improvement plans across the 5 CQC key questions using smarter goal setting. Instead of scrabbling to pull things together at the last minute, this helps you stay on top of compliance and improvement without the stress. So the QP SAF Scorecard is about turning insights into action. Its structured process helps you take a clear, evidence-based approach to improving quality in your service. Here's how it works. First, we gather the evidence, pulling together CQC and Commissioner inspection reports, internal audits and feedback from staff, residents, families and members of the multidisciplinary team. And this gives us a full picture of where we stand. Next, we compare our findings against CQC's single assessment framework quality statements to see how well we align with expectations. And from there, we score each statement to measure performance against the required standards, because this helps us pinpoint strengths and identify areas that need improvement. Once we've got our scores, we create the Qualitizer Improvement Blueprint Plan, a structured roadmap to help guide our next steps. And to help us focus, we then RAG rate our priorities, so we know what needs urgent attention, what requires steady progress, and what's already in good shape. And finally, we put everything into action with a detailed plan using our smarter goal setting templates, ensuring that improvements are both achievable and sustainable. This structured approach ensures you're not just collecting data, we're using it to drive meaningful change. Now, I mentioned smarter goals, and I know you'll all be familiar with SMART goals, but in the QP SAF Scorecard, we're taking it a step further with smarter goals to support your quality improvement plan. We start by being specific, of course. Your goals should be clear, answering what you need to achieve, why it's important, who is involved, and what resources are needed. And of course it's measurable, because you need criteria to measure progress and success. And this helps you track how you're doing and know when you've reached your goal. It needs to be achievable, because goals have to be realistic, considering the resources and the constraints available. And you need to break them down into smaller steps if you need to. And it definitely needs to be realistic, because your goals need to be practical and attainable, given the resources you've got. And time bound is so important, because setting a deadline or a time frame creates urgency and helps prioritise what matters most. But here's where we go further with smarter goals, because they need to be engaging. Your goals need to motivate and inspire your team. When your goals capture their interest, they're more committed to making it happen, and they need to be relevant ensuring the goal is aligned with your bigger mission and vision, because when it feels relevant to your team's work, it drives even more enthusiasm and commitment. By integrating all these elements, you not only set goals, but you create a strong foundation for achieving success. If you like your copy of the smarter goal setting, head over to my website where you can download it and the template if you'd like to use it in your planning. Is your HR processes disjointed, with the rota becoming that final isolated step instead of being part of a cohesive system, causing you to constantly firefight staff cover? This is where step 7 of the Qualitizer process, the VSR HR rota wheel, places the rota at the centre of your HR processes, making sure you have effective and safe staffing to support both you and your team. Let me explain. Effective staffing is at the heart of delivering high quality care, and the Vanity Sanity Rota Reality model puts staffing needs at the centre of your operational processes, ensuring a proactive strategic approach that meets the demands of both your team and regulatory standards. Here's how it works. We start with vanity because it's so easy to focus on external factors for staffing challenges. And our model encourages you to take ownership of your staffing needs, moving from reactive solutions to proactive planning for lasting results. Sanity. Instead of navigating weekly staffing uncertainties, implementing a structured long-term staffing plan creates peace of mind and stability, making sure your team is supported effectively and you're not juggling the rota from week to week or even shift to shift. Because rota is reality. Your rota should always be at the heart of your staffing strategy. And by prioritising it, you make sure it becomes the primary tool to manage staffing levels, leading to smoother, more reliable workforce and consistent high quality care. This model enables you to put the rota at the centre of your HR strategy, creating a well-managed, adaptable and efficient approach to staffing, making sure it's safe, effective care every time. Now, the starting point is to develop a health and wellbeing strategy for your care service that clearly outlines the priorities you're committed to, and what success looks like is key to retaining your staff. And in our model, we go through not just recruitment, but obviously retention, because you don't want to keep filling this funnel that's emptying it at the other end. So if you think that that would benefit you and you're not quite sure if you've got a wellbeing strategy in place at the moment, I would suggest you start by creating a staff survey so you can get direct feedback from your team as to what they consider is important for their health and well-being. And once you've got their feedback, you can then develop a planned communication and awareness strategy that encourages team members to take their health and well-being seriously and help you to identify and signpost to relevant resources. And lead by example, please, by looking after your own well-being. We look at that in step 2, which is the 5 R's, but often we forget that we are leading by example. So take your lunch breaks, demonstrate that you switch off, take regular holidays. Having a well-planned annual leave process for not just you, but all your team is so key for health and well-being. And understanding the unique drivers of well-being in your care home will help you identify what will work, and you'll get that from feedback from your staff team. If you'd like to define your well-being priorities and review the questions in your staff survey so you can understand what really supports them, because you might be surprised that they come up with things that you haven't actually thought about that are really easy to implement. So if you would like to download that template with the 5 key actions in my previous slide, just go to the website and you'll find it there. I've introduced you to the 9 fundamentals, which is step 1 of the foundation stage of the Qualitizer process. And step 1 is all about recognising that if you're struggling to maintain improvements, it's likely because your quality improvement foundations are either missing or they're not strong enough. And this step helps you solidify those foundations, ensuring they're robust and can support sustainable long-term quality improvements. Then we looked at treating quality improvement. If you're treating it like a sprint, it can leave you exhausted and on the brink of burnout. And the reality is quality improvement's a marathon. It's a long-term journey that requires the right support. This is where step 2 of the Qualitizer process comes in, the 5R framework. It helps you embed processes that support you so you can continue to support others effectively. And we looked at how having a lack of structure can make it challenging to record evidence and demonstrate compliance with the new single assessment framework. And this is where step 6 of the Qualitizer process, the QP SAF Scorecard, comes in, because it provides clear, organised systems for capturing and presenting the necessary evidence, ensuring compliance and driving continuous improvement. We then looked at how having a disjointed HR process where the rota is treated as that final isolated step can leave you constantly firefighting cover. And this is where step 7 of the Qualitizer process, the VSR HR rota, comes in, because it's a wheel that shifts the focus and places the rota at the centre of your HR processes. And by doing so, it ensures effective and safe staffing that supports both you and your team to deliver effective care. I've walked you through the Qualitizer process, showing you how to create sustainable quality improvement that actually lasts. I've introduced you to the 12-step framework and tackled 4 common challenges that I see registered managers face when driving quality improvement forward. And I've given you 4 key actions you can take right now. We started with step 1, focusing on getting the right foundations in place, because without a strong base, maintaining improvement is a struggle. And I also shared how the RCM model of review and reflect, clarify and move with momentum can help you stay on track. Then in step 2, I introduced you to the 5R framework, a system designed to support you through the long marathon that quality improvement really is. And if you want to dive deeper, I've got a whole podcast series packed with tips and tools to help you along the way. Next, we jumped ahead to step 6 and explored the QP SAF Scorecard, a game-changing tool that will help you focus on what matters while staying aligned to the single assessment framework. And I shared my Smarter Goals framework, because setting the right goal is key to making progress. And finally, we looked at step 7, where I introduced you to the VSR model, a fresh approach that puts the rota at the centre of your HR processes, ensuring safe and effective staffing. If you found this helpful, there are 3 ways you can continue supporting your journey. Stay connected through my newsletters, websites, Facebook group and LinkedIn, where I share ongoing support and strategies. And plus, you can join the free SAF Sprint to take action now. And you can get the download access through the QR code on this slide. Now, I know leading quality improvement can sometimes feel overwhelming, and you don't have to do it alone. That's why I created the Qualitizer Process Mentorship, a 3-month support program designed to guide you every step of the way. Every week, you'll have personal weekly accountability and mentoring meetings, known as WAMs, with me to dive into your service-specific challenges and help keep you on track. Plus, implementation webinars where we work through strategies together so you can take real action. You also get access to the 12-step framework with all the videos that you can watch in your own time, because I know how hard it is to be able to carve out specific slots for planned training in your busy diary. And these come along with a full toolkit of tips and resources to support you. If this sounds like the kind of structure and hands-on support you need, click the QR code and check out what's inside the mentorship and get on the waitlist for the next opening. And finally, the Qualitizer Intense is where I provide hands-on intensive support for care homes in crisis or seeking real improvements. My 6-month one-to-one coaching and on-site support focuses on improving CQC ratings and compliance, stabilising staff and operations, and strengthening financial and strategic planning. And with decades of experience in care home turnaround and crisis management, I know how to get results quickly. If you think this is what you're looking for, I've one spot open, so let's talk. I've walked you through the Qualitizer process. I've showed you how to create sustainable quality improvement that actually lasts. I've introduced you to the 12 steps and 4 mistakes I often see registered managers face when driving quality improvement forward. And we've looked at 4 key actions you can take right now. Thank you for listening. I hope they've been helpful. If you think we could support you more, please get in touch. Our mentorship program is due to start next month. We only have 5 slots available on that, and we have 1 slot at the moment available for the Qualitizer Process Intense. Again, thank you for listening. It's been great to give me the opportunity to talk to you and explain what the Qualitizer process is all about.